Hey guys, so today we're taking this transmission out of this Chevy Silverado. It's I don't even know. And then, so yeah, we got all the tools here. I just took one out. We got all the tools here. To be honest, the hardest bolt to come out of is the top, very top on the transmission. It's well, you gotta do it with a half or a 13 first in order to get the wire off or whatever is stuck on it. So yeah, I got a 21 mil and those are stuck as well. Okay, we're gonna take that off. This, and then the whole thing drops. We got a board and a jack to lift it. And when we're taking the bolts out, let it down. And yeah, now in order for the exhaust, in order to cut that, we just got the steel blade for a sawzall, and then just give it a cut right here somewhere. Just watch out, there's an O2 sensor, just not right there, and then do right there as well, and just make sure you got the perfect steel blade for it. So we got these bolts out. Like I said, they're 21s. Now you just jack it up. Have a board there, jack it up, and then you can pull the bolts right out. Usually there's one that comes out right away, but then the rest they don't. And then slowly, see if it'll work. Just drop it and the whole everything drops. So we got two 15 bolts in there. One on this side, just loosen it. We got one on this side. Loosen that. And then comes out. And for this transfer case, we got these bolts here. They you loosen them once with a wrench. It's a 15 mil, 15 as well, and then loosen them once. You can turn them with the hand. So we got one on this side. Focus. One on this side, two in the bottom, and then one on the other side as well. That one's a bit harder to reach, but it's right there. And then we got two on top. If you feel it with your hands, you can. There's the one, and on the other side is the other. So you take those off, and then we got this 7/16 or 11 mil, and then just take that off, pry it off a bit. After that, then we got bolts on the transmission. There's one way up there, and that's the hardest one to get. It's got a 13 and a 15. First you do with the 13, you take the one nut off, and then with the 15, you take the whole bolt out, and then yeah, and then the starter. This one's out already, but the starter, I believe it has a half or what is it? A half or a 13, and you just push it back, and then you got. Don't know if you'll see it, but then you got 3 bolts on the flywheel that hold the torque converter. Then you take. There's usually a cap here. Then you take a crowbar, turn the flywheel with it, and then just look here, and then the bolts will appear, and then you take it off. It's fairly simple. So now we got all the bolts off. Got what, 6 bolts up in here, and yeah, they're all off now. It's there's a small shaft where this is hanging on. I think the shaft's like up to yay long, something like that. And then we got this one's off. And then now we just lift it up and then pull it back a bit and then drop it down. Got the transfer case off. Like I said, yeah, there's 2 up top, 2 on the side, each side, and 2 on the bottom. And then there's actually a breather hose that was on there too. The gas lines, there's another clip there, and then another for the wires right there, and then that's it. And then we got all the bolts up there. There's one. I don't know if you can see it. There's one, and then there's one. There's one. There's 2 on each side. There's 2 there. And then there's 2 there. We got 2 in the bottom. This one actually doesn't have that one as well. And then we got 1 up there and then 1 all the way up there. And then, yeah, they're 1/2 inch for the wires to pop off, and then 15 for the bolts. And then, yeah, we just used a swivel, 15, and a shit ton of extensions. And there's another, oh, that's the sensor. Now for this one, oh, this one doesn't even have the clip in it anymore. My light's turning off. There you go. So that doesn't have a clip, but you usually have a clip in there. And then you just pry that one off, and that's it. So now we got 1 extension, very long one, another one that's not that long. We got 4 extensions, a swivel, and 15. And it's out. Yep, it's out. There you go. That actually worked very nicely. The one I did before, I think it took me about an hour just to get to it. And then, well, I got to it, but it was just, I don't know, everything was in the way, it seemed like. But this one, surprisingly, has more room. Yeah, so that one's done. Like you can see here, it's got a hose, just a breather hose that goes on there. And then, for these, yeah, so this I'll just say now, when you take a transmission out, put the dipstick, put that one up there, or don't even take it off or whatever. But when you put the transmission back in, make sure you have the dipstick. Make sure you have the dipstick there, because it's very hard trying to get it up there after. I did anyways once, and it was very hard for me, so I just always leave it up there. And then, yeah, for like the top where so these bolts have it like this. Where is it? Right here. So it's like this. There's a 1/2 inch on here, and this bracket was on there, right? So it's like that bracket there. But that's for all the evap, or it's the breather hoses anyways. And this is all, I got the fuel lines off, the wires off, so now all we gotta do is take the bolts off. And then for this motor, so I don't think I can take the torque converter off because the motor is seized, so I can't turn the engine. So I don't know for sure what I'll do with that, but maybe I'll be able to slide it backwards and it'll fall off. I don't know for sure. Not fall off, just fall out. But yeah, so now all I gotta do, loosen all the bolts around, and well, I guess take all the bolts out and then see if I can pry it backwards for, yeah. And yeah, for the dipstick, you just take the nut off, and it has the bracket on there, so you just take that nut off and then you push it up. It's really not that hard. So we got all the bolts out, and we got all the bolts out now. So now we're just gonna lift it with this, pull it back. So we got the punch here and a hammer. So now there's a hole right in the bottom of the tranny. Come on. Punch a hole, put the punch in, then grab a crowbar and then just pry it backwards. So we pried it backwards there. We had one in the bottom and then one at the, wherever, by the other thing. And now we gotta pull it out from the torque converter because the engine is seized, so we can't twist the flywheel. Now all we gotta do is pull it backwards yet, and then lift it up, and then transmission's out. Yeah, that's how you do it. Thanks for watching, guys. So yeah, we got it off the torque converter. It was hanging in the air, but we gotta pry it a bit. Do a little bit of play, but yeah, we got it off. Now if you have a hoist, just lift it up. Have a guy under there just to make sure everything works perfectly. Make sure you won't touch the roof. Yeah, that's how you take a transmission out. It's and then for the bolts on the torque converter, they're right behind the flywheel. So then you turn it right to where the starter is, and then yeah, like right up to there somewhere, and then you can reach it with a 15 mil, a wrench, ratchet, whatever you want to use. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you'll follow along.